Hello learners, welcome to One-to-One Teaching. In this video, we are going to talk about pointers to pointers. If you have not checked out our previous video, which covers the basic concepts of pointers, I would recommend you to do so. So, what we have learned from our previous video is that pointers are nothing, they are ordinary variables which point to a particular memory location, which contains the desired value. So what do pointers have as their values? They have memory addresses. All right. And we spoke of an example over there. Like, I have a friend of mine whose house I want to visit. Her name is XYZ. And what I have with me is an address slip. It's 1800s. There are no Google Maps, Google location, no WhatsApp, no Facebook, nothing. So no Android phones. All I have is an address slip with the help of which I can visit her house. Now let's extend the story. Let's consider that there is another mutual friend we have, and I know that friend's house. So what I do is first I visit her house and she hands me over the address slip which has the address of XYZ. I see that, I use it, and I visit XYZ's house. So this middle person, this friend, this mutual friend of mine and XYZ, what does it hand me over? It hands me over that address slip, which in turn contains the address of XYZ. So we can use this analogy when we are speaking about pointers to pointers. So it is possible to make a pointer point to another pointer. And where will that another pointer point to? It is going to point to a memory location which will contain a desired value. So this is just known as a chain of pointers. If you have a look over here, we have a variable with a particular value in a memory address, say address 1. Say this value is stored in the memory address 1. P1 is a pointer pointing to this variable. So what does P1 have as its value? It has address 1. All right. Now P1 has its own address, say address 2. So we have another pointer P2 which is going to point to the pointer P1. So what will P2 have as its value? It's very obvious. It is going to have the address of the variable it is pointing to, that is address 2, because we told that the address of P1 is address 2. So what will be stored as the value of P2? That is address 2. P2 has a separate memory location, say address 3. So this is how it goes. So a pointer variable may also contain the address of another pointer, which in turn points to the address of a particular value. So it is analogous to the example I used. I visit my friend's house who is a pointer to that pointer, which is the she is the pointer to that pointer, that is the address slip. And with the help of the address slip, I can visit my friend XYZ's house. So this is known as multiple indirections. Now, we know that when we are using a pointer to a variable, we use a single indirection operator, that is the asterisk sign over there. When we are using a pointer to a pointer, we use two asterisk sign, that is we use an additional indirection operator. Now, what does this say? Look at this statement, look at this declaration. What does this exactly tell the compiler? It tells the compiler that P2 is a pointer to a pointer of integer type, or we may say that P2 is a pointer to an integer pointer. But there's a catch over here. We have to remember this statement does not necessarily mean that the pointer P2 is a pointer to an integer. What it means is it is a pointer to an integer pointer. All right. So now if we come to this particular program, our doubts would get cleared, whatever we have. So let's just have a look. What am I trying to do in this program? I have a variable x, I have a pointer p1, and I have a pointer to a pointer p2. X is initialized with a value, say 70. What does P1 have as its value? It has the address of X. Alright. What does P2 have as its value? It has the address of P1. Now with the help of the first print statement, what we are trying to display is simply the value of X. Now next what I'm going to do is I'm just going to print the values stored in P1 and P2. Now next what we are going to see is the value of the address pointed to by P1, P2. Okay, that means what our target is that P2 is containing an address, say the address is 1000. So our aim is to find P2 is containing the address 1000. We have to find that who lives in that memory address 1000. This is the aim of the statement. And finally, we are using the double indirection operator to find out whether it actually gives the correct value of X or not. Let's see what happens. Okay. If you have a close look, in the first statement, X is equal to 70 because yes, we have used the indirection operator. So P1 is going to contain the address, but once we use the indirection operator before P1, we are referring to the value stored in that corresponding address. So that is 70. Now what we have is value stored in P1 is value stored in P1 is given as this. Means what does P1 have as its value? It has the memory address where X is stored. Next, what we see, what is the value stored in P2? We see that the value stored in P2 is the address of P1, nothing else. See, because you have used P2 is equal to ampersand P1. All right. Next, what we are planning to do is we are going to see that what is P2 is pointing to an address. It is a pointer, it is pointing to an address. We are aiming to find out what is the value stored in that address. Now, very intuitively, we can say that P2 is pointing to P1. So P2, if P1 is having an address 1000, P2 is going to have 1000 as its value. Okay. Now, what is stored in 1000? P1. And what is in turn P1 having as its value? It is having nothing but ampersand X. Okay, it is having nothing but ampersand X. That is what is the value stored in P1? That is ampersand X. What was ampersand X? This is the value stored in ampersand X. So if you look at the output, value of the address. Now, value of the address, please don't be confused by the ambiguity in the language. Like value of the address does not mean the address pointed to. What is the value stored in that address pointed to by P2? It is nothing but the same as ampersand X. That is the address of X. Next, when we are using the double indirection operator, what we are returned to is nothing but the address of X. So in turn, we are getting the address of X when we use the double indirection operator. This is not as confusing as it seems. So in case if you feel that the concept was quite tough, I would recommend please watch the previous video on pointers and just rewind it, listen to it once again and then proceed. Okay, so that was all for this video. Stay tuned and bye-bye.